All right, Shalom. This is Brother Gabar, the Lions Den Camp, located here in Jacksonville, Florida. First and foremost, before I hop into this lesson, I want to give all praises to the Most High in the true Paleo Hebrew names and in the Paleo Hebrew tongue. So with that, I want to say Kal Halayim, La Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Ha Rakah Kodash Shema. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS. Double honors to my elder as well, Harwan Bon Yasharala. And Shalom to you, brothers and sisters, pushing and keeping this truth and faith and sincerity into the end, man. All right. And this lesson just stemming from something that was on my spirit earlier, man. Just basically how the Lord Yahweh Shemi Hawashah has given us these small matters to rule over and to be responsible of. And these small matters mean doing the work, teaching His word, man. Reading, studying, doing those things that's required of us. Those are light burdens, man, small matters that the Lord Yahweh Shemi Hawashah has placed upon us, man. You know, uh, man, and he's seeing how we handle, these responsibilities that's placed on us, man. Because hey, the Lord is setting us up to be kings and princes, rulers of the whole earth, man. But how can the Lord Yahweh Shemi Hawashah trust us to be rulers, kings, princes? Right, ruling in righteous judgment, man. If He can't even trust us to, with the responsibilities that He has bestowed upon us, first and foremost, doing the work, doing His will, man, teaching, preaching, prophesying, studying, doing your weekly lessons, and so on and so forth, man. How can He trust you to rule a kingdom, man, a providence, a planet, a nation of people if he can't even trust you to complete and handle the responsibility that He has already bestowed to you on this side? So I just wanted to get a few scriptures on this point, man. The first one being coming out of the book of Matthew, chapter 11. I'm starting at verse 28. It says, "Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest." Right? Because, man, when you come into this truth, it's like walking into, because when we in the world, man, we heavy laden, man. We walk around the world with a chip on our shoulder, man. you know we be lost out here, or we were lost out here, spiritually dead, don't have no type of answers. Life was harder. Life was much harder, man, without the Spirit of the Lord, Yahweh Shemi Hawashah, without this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of this truth, man. But coming into this truth is like, it's like you just took a long, hard hike with a heavy book bag, and you get to a cabin, and the first thing you do is take that book bag off your shoulders, man. You know, and you're able to like rest in that cabin, in that comfort, man. That's how it's like coming into this truth, man. That burden, what I'm saying, that thing that heavy laden you, man, is not that chip is knocked off your shoulder, man. And you're able to pick up the Lord's burden, which is light. You know what I'm saying? The Lord don't require I ain't gonna say He doesn't require much of us, but what He does require of us is not hard. His burden is light. It says, verse 29, "Take my yoke upon you and learn of me, for I am meek and lowly in heart, and ye shall find rest unto your souls." And that's exactly what you find coming into this truth, man. You're able to rest in this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, man. And verse 30 says, "For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." Right? Man, all the Lord requires of us, man, is go out on the streets, preach and teach, do your weekly lessons, through the Spirit. That was a decree that was, decreed through the Spirit of the Lord, Yahweh Shemi Hawashah, from the elders and apostles on down, doing your weekly lessons, studying, teaching His word, and not only being a hearer of the word, but a doer only. That's a light burden. That's an easy yoke, man. Compared to when you was in the world, whatever the world requires of you, especially without the Spirit of the Lord, Yahweh Shemi Hawashah, man, the world could seem so harsh and hard, and you'd be depressed, you'd be anxious, we were spiritually dead, so we lost, don't have no answers, man. That was hard, being in the world, man. But being in the truth, man, this burden is light. The Lord's yoke is easy. We have a sense of rest, being in this truth, man, having the Spirit of the Lord, Yahweh Shemi Hawashah. And so my point being in verse 30, man, is this yoke is easy. The Lord's burden is light, man. It's not hard to do the work and the will of the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushua. You know, it's not hard, man. This is a light burden, man, the easy yoke placed upon us, man. This responsibility, this duty. It's a easy yoke, man. It's a light burden, man. You know, which just lead me to my next precept, man, which is in the book of Matthew. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 25, starting verse 14. It says, "For the kingdom of heaven is as a man traveling into a far country, who called his own servants and delivered unto them his goods." Right? And that's exactly what it's like, man, because Yahweh Shai, is not on the earth. So he gave duty and authority and responsibility unto his servants and deliver unto them his goods, man, his knowledge, his wisdom, his understanding, his spirit. All right. And it says, and unto one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, and to another 1, to every man according to his servile ability, and straightway took his journey, man. So the Lord, man, the Lord knows our hearts and minds and spirits, man. He gave each brother, each person in this truth, the exact level of responsibility and duty that he knew they could handle. So if the Lord put it on your plate, you can handle it, man. You could do it. In verse 16 it says, "Then he that had received the 5 talents went and traded with the same, and made them other 5 talents." Right? So he flipped the Lord's money, man. The Lord gave him five talents. He came back with 10. He increased in the spirit. He increased in the knowledge and the wisdom. He brought 5 people into the truth, into the faith, unto the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Whatever the Lord gave him, man, he flipped it times 2. You get what I'm saying? And it says, verse 17, "And likewise he that had 2, he also gained another 2." Right? So that brother, that person as well, man, according to what the Lord gave him, man, he multiplied it. Right? And it says, "But he that have received the 1 went and digged in the earth and hid his Lord's money," man. So that one that digged into the earth and hid the Lord's money, man, he put a bushel over his light, man. He did not shine that light. He did not shine the spirit of the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushua. He didn't put in any work. He didn't put in any effort, to flip the Lord's money, man, to give the Lord back more than what he was given, man. Okay? And it says, verse 19, "After a long time, the Lord of those servants cometh and reckoneth with them." Right? And Yahweh Shai is returning, man, and he's going to reckon, and he's going to reckon with his servants, man, those that he has placed, in his stead, those that he have placed responsibility and duty unto, man. And what answer are you going to give in that day? Right? In verse 20, and it says, "And so he that had received 5 talents came and brought another 5 talents, saying, Lord, thou deliverest unto me 5 talents. Behold, I have gained beside them five talents more. His Lord said unto him, Well done, thou good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things. I will make thee ruler over many things. Enter thou into the joy of thy Lord," man. All right. So that brother, man, he did the work, man. He did exactly what was required of him from the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, man, according to what the Lord gave him. You know what I'm saying? Different brothers got different plates from the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushua. But even with that being said, man, whatever the Lord gave you, that's exactly for you to handle and to be responsible of, man. So like I said, if it was put on your plate, man, you can handle it. You can do it, because the Lord knows our hearts, our spirits, our minds. He knows exactly what we can handle and what we can't. He'll never put more on us than we can bear, man. Some in a man. And if you think about the days of slavery, I'm just thinking about this analogy, Salakia. But man, hey, some of them brothers, hey, they could carry 5, 6 loads of cotton, man. And that was them. Other brothers, they might can only carry 3 bags at a time. Another brother, maybe he can only carry 1. My point, and maybe that wasn't the best analogy, Salakia, but my point is, man, whatever the Lord gave you, man, whatever the Lord gave you, you can handle it. And your work may not look like another person's work, right? But as long as you're working effectively and efficiently to what the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai gave you, man, in truth and in sincerity, you know, at the very least, still like doing what the Lord requires of you, with doing the weekly videos and teaching and speaking His word when He tell you to speak, and doing these different things, man. Just handling a responsibility that the Lord gave to you, because every part of the body is important. It's just like at a job, man. You got directors, you got managers, and you just got workers, right? But each position, man, has worth. Each position is important because the company can't effectively run, if the workers ain't doing what they're supposed to do, right? The company can't effectively run if the managers ain't doing what they're supposed to do. The company can't effectively run if the operators and you know those in that higher level ain't doing what they're supposed to do. Each part of the body is important, man. So point being, so like, yeah, I'm rambling, but man, whatever the Lord Yahweh Shemi Hashai placed on your plate, you can do it. You just gotta, man, you just have to do it. It ain't no ifs, ands, or buts, sir. Man, just do it. You know, and Salakia 2, going to verse 21, he said, and his Lord said unto him, well done, thou good and faithful servant. Man, you want to hear that from the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai. Man, you want to hear, man, you want to hear the Lord, man, blessing you rather than cursing you, man. You want to have that crown placed upon your head versus, tasting that sword of destruction and judgment. And it says, thou hast been faithful over a few things, I will make thee ruler over many things. Right? So, man, the Lord, man, he trusting us right now with his work, doing his will, man, handling our responsibilities, in this truth. Right? He's seeing how we deal with this, how we handle this, in order to give us more. Because the Lord is preparing us to be kings, princes, rulers of an entire nation, of an entire planet. But how can he trust you to do that? If you can't even rule over the few things, the small things that he have given you, man, in faith and in sincerity and decently and in order, In verse 22, it says, he also that had received 2 talents came and said, Lord, thou deliverest unto me 2 talents. Behold, I have gained 2 other talents beside them. His Lord said unto him, well done, good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things. I will make thee ruler over many things. Enter thou into the joy of thy Lord. All right, so same thing with the brother who had 2 talents, man. The Lord gave him, he didn't have the 5 talents like the previous brother, the previous servant. All right, but the Lord gave him 2 because that's what he can handle. That's what he can, that's what he can, be efficient and effective with. Right? So that's why I was saying your works or your responsibility may not look like another brother's or another person's, right? But even so, man, you do it to the best of your ability, to what the Lord gave you and requires of you. So in this truth, doing the work, like, what I'm saying, your lessons might not be like a elder or apostle's lesson, man. You might not have all the wisdom and knowledge that they have yet. You never know what your lot is, man, until you reach for that point. But hey, man, you know what I'm saying? You might not be able to drop an hour lesson, but hey, drop that 15-minute lesson, drop that 20-minute lesson, drop a 5-minute spiritual hydration. Like, whatever the Lord gave you, man, do it in truth and in sincerity, man. And do it with a sense of urgency, a sense of responsibility, a sense of duty, and man, all things in life, man. Of course, the first and foremost responsibility that the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai has given us is His truth, man, doing this spiritual work, right? But the Lord has also given us other responsibilities, man. Families, kids, wives, jobs, whatever the case may be, man. We supposed to, be moving in that spirit in all things, man. Because the scripture tell you, let all things be done decently and in order, man. So whatever the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai has placed upon you on this side, in this world, man, do it with decently and in order, man. Do it with efficiency. Do it with effectiveness, in verse 24, it says, then he which had received the 1 talent came and said, Lord, I knew thee that thou art a hard man, reaping where thou hast not sown, and gathering where thou hast not straw. And I was afraid and went and hid thy talent in the earth. Lo, there thou hast that is thine. So basically, man, he didn't do anything. He didn't do anything with the talent, with the responsibility, with the duty that the Lord gave him, man. You know, and it says, verse 26, his Lord answered and said unto him, thou wicked and slothful servant, thou knewest that I reap where I sowed not, and gather where I have not straw. Thou oughtest therefore to have put my money to the exchangers, and then at my coming I should have received my own with usury, man. Right? So the Lord was rebuking him, man. Thou wicked and slothful servant, man. That's what you don't want to hear from the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahweh. You know, you want to hear that, well done, my good and faithful servant, man. You want to know that you um handle this truth, this talent, this responsibility, this duty to the best of your abilities, man. First and foremost, and then also every other responsibility and duty within your life that the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushua has given you, because it's all about balance, man. Scripture tells you a false balance is an abomination to the Lord, man. So you want to move in this work. You know what I'm saying? Hey, man, and one thing the elder told me and the brothers when we was working out of town, some time ago, he was saying, work like you working for Yahweh Shai. So even on these jobs, man, like even when dealing with your family, dealing with your man, treat it like you working for the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushua. You know, you know, because man, it's all about balance, man. Um, and con that lead me to my next precept. This is a book of 1 Corinthians chapter 14 verse 40. I'll end it with this one, and it says, plain and simple, man. Let all things be done decently and in order, right? Because hey, doing this work of the Lord, it's a order to it. Like it's an order. It's decrees that have been set, through the Spirit of the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, that we are to do this work and and follow that fashion, man, from those from before us, man. The elders and apostles on down, man. Follow that order and that decency that they have laid, man, throughout the years, man. You know, and in that same breath, hey, when you look at everything in life, from driving to to going to work, to uh, caring for a child, or handling a family, man, it's an order to everything. Like when you really look at it, it's an order to everything. So being in that Spirit of the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, we should be doing all things decently and in order. First and foremost, the work of the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, and giving that time and that focus to the Lord, man, He'll what I'm saying, He'll put that spirit upon you to where you handling, everything in your life in that same manner, with that same sense of responsibility and duty and urgency. You know, and man, I pray and hope that my point was made clear and came across. I pray and hope that was edifying and or encouraging. And with that, I'm gonna say shalom.